So hello everyone, welcome to my webinar. If you've not come here before, then welcome to another one of my Spooky2 webinars. Usually I ask a lot of questions at this point, like, are you new, are you not new? But what I've done this time round is, just give me a moment, I made a form to collect some information which would help me to help you better. And it takes a lot of guesswork away from me when I'm preparing things for you. So just give me a moment and I'll just grab that. Okay, I've got it. Sorry, just give me one moment. Right, so I made a form. Oh no, it says my internet connection is unstable. Is that why I'm having problems? Okay, right, if you can you see that link? So I just sent a link to gather some feedback from you, because this might be the last webinar that I'm presenting this year. And I want to be able to take some time to, gather feedback and understand how I can do better, and also, meet your needs as well with regards to Spooky2. So if you could kindly fill out that form on the link that I sent to you, that would be really helpful. And as a thank you, I'm giving away a free 30-minute focus session with myself. So I'll pick one lucky winner at random on Saturday, and then I will send it. I'll send you a private email, and then we'll arrange that from there. Okay. So who's excited about this webinar? Central is, it's a really great machine. It's the most powerful Rife machine in the world. And I've heard a lot of good stories about it, and I've experienced it myself. I've helped others with it. I do coaching sessions, so I've helped many people with it too, and it's incredible. It's just the whole Spooky2 range is absolutely fascinating. I know I say this every single time, but it truly is. And no matter how much experience you have with these machines, they will still astonish you every day. Right, so let's, someone's raised a hand. Yes, Jolene. Sorry, let me just see what I can do about that. Oh, it's gone. If you have any questions and answers, please can you kindly put them in the Q&A box so that I can come to them in the end. When I'm presenting and talking, I won't be able to keep up with the chat at that time, but I will definitely try and stop and pause in between just to try and catch up with some of the chat. It would just help me a lot if you can put the questions in the Q&A box. Also, just before I get started with the Spooky2, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the AHA Halo, because I've had some comments and questions after my webinar on this, and I don't know when I'll be next doing a webinar on it. So this is, from the sister company AHA Halo, sister company of Spooky2, which you might be familiar with. So a lot of Spooky2 users do use AHA Halo, or I should say that most AHA Halo users use a Spooky2. So I just wanted to quickly mention that I did say during that webinar that it's recommended to use it during the daytime rather than at nighttime, so that you can integrate changes and so that it doesn't give you too much energy and keep you up at night. But I do want to say that I have personally tried using it at nighttime as well for many days in a row after that webinar, and I didn't have any problems with it interrupting my sleep. So you can, from my experience, I found that you can still use it, so you can try it out and see. And if it does interrupt your sleep and it gives you too much energy, then don't use it at nighttime. And if it doesn't, like me, then you can use it at nighttime as well. The sleep programs are designed so that you can run them at nighttime, because they send frequencies to help you sleep anyway. So those ones can be run at nighttime regardless. Sorry, I should have made that clear in that webinar. And I realized afterwards, when I got some questions after the webinar, that that was not so clear. So I hope that's clarified that. And there was something else I wanted to mention. Yeah, just very quickly, I have put my email address on this slide. I do have very limited availability for coaching in November, but I am available in the first week. So if anyone wants coaching or training with me, then please email me on that email address. I'll also give it at the end of this webinar. And if I can't book you in November, then I can book you in December and beyond. So I just wanted to let you know that I'll still be available to give you coaching, even if I'm not doing webinars for the next couple of months. Also, I do have, actually, I'll talk about that later. There's something else I want to mention, but I'll come back to it. Just to get through the presentation first. So a quick review of my journey. So I've got a strong academic background. I did a biomedical degree, biomedical sciences, and then I did a master's in tissue engineering and regenerative medicine. After that, I did a PhD in cell biology. And I found that it was one course in particular, bioethics, which I did during my undergraduate degree, where I learned a lot of things, a lot of truths about the medical industry, and it kind of opened up my eyes to look for alternative approaches. And that's kind of where my journey started. So that was sort of in 2008, 2009. And then Spooky2 I came across in more recent years when I had a very difficult and challenging time with my father, who suffered from an aggressive cancer. And I was looking desperately for solutions. So that's how I came into this. And I have quite an emotional attachment, I think, now to Spooky2 because it helped me at a very difficult time. Since I've been using it, I've been finding a lot of success stories. I've got a few of the details in there, but I don't think we really need to go through them just for the interest of time. So what we'll cover today is you will learn what Spooky2 Central can do, how to set it up safely, how to run your programs in the software, and safety guidelines. I'm going to try to make this as beginner friendly as possible. But if you are unsure about something, then please feel free to put it into the chat if you want me to clarify something. If it's just, general questions that are not directly related to what I'm talking about in that moment, then please put them in the Q&A. We'll also have some short videos, a live demo, where I'll run through the software and how to set up a plasma session. And then we'll also have a Q&A session at the end where I'll answer your questions, and I'll try to have at least one or two of you talking to me on live. So that will be great. Feel free to, as I said, jot down questions in Q&A. And also a quick disclaimer that this webinar is for educational purposes only and does not substitute medical advice. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or replace medical advice from a qualified healthcare professional. I'm not a clinical professional, I'm not a physician. I'm a scientist by training. So why use Spooky2? Because it enhances quality of life. It increases convenience and flexibility. There are ways that you can use this so that it's working on you 24/7, or you can use it in a contact mode where you are connected to the equipment, but you can choose when you want to use it and how you want to use it. So it gives you that flexibility, that great degree of flexibility and convenience. It also gives you continuous wellness support because, when you are running programs, you can do so when you've got the equipment in your house. You can run it whenever you want, however often you can. That can be every day. It can be, every other day of the week. It can be a few times a week. It can be once a month as you need. But it just gives you the option to have something at your fingertips. And it gives you that sense of ownership as well, which is why I've written empowerment there, because it gives you ownership over your own health, and it helps you to make decisions for yourself rather than feeling completely dependent upon others to make tough decisions and, to help you to live the best healthy life that you can. It's so easy to lean on other people to kind of direct us in how we should be living the healthiest way. But when you start to do things bit by bit, like controlling your diet, your lifestyle, your exercise regimen, and then you bring something like Spooky2 into the picture, then it just helps you to feel a lot more independent and in control of your own life choices. It can also reduce dependence on medications, which is a great positive. I've personally experienced this and I've helped others with it too. It can really help with that. But obviously, I would recommend that you work with your general physician with that, especially if you are taking medications for serious issues, then you will need to work with a GP. And it's holistic healing. So you can do it's not just physical healing, but you can also do emotional, spiritual, mental healing with this equipment, or well-being. So the Spooky2 Central, which is depicted in that image on the right, is a non-invasive plasma-based frequency delivery system that works with the Spooky2 software to transmit healing frequencies through powerful electromagnetic waves. Just want to ask you, am I going too fast, or is this pace okay for you? Do you want me to slow down? I know sometimes I do talk a little fast. Do you want me to talk slower? Good speed. Okay, great. Slow down. Someone wants me to slow down. Most people are saying fine. I'm going to go with a consensus. Okay, right. I'm going to go with a consensus. If you do need me to slow down at any point, then just let me know. Okay. So the plasma has a lot of offerings. It has frequencies up to 3.5 megahertz. So there are a million hertz in a megahertz, and with this you can go up to 3.5 megahertz, which is very powerful, very strong. And only the Central can do that out of the Spooky2 range. It's effective in killing pathogens such as parasites, viruses, and molds. And pathogens are often the underlying cause of a lot of the symptoms of disease. So this is why a system like the Rife has a good anecdotal track record. It also has 3 more modes of application. So the Central offers PEMF, contact, and ultrasonic modes as well, and we will look at them a bit later. So how does it work? It's based on Rife technology and the principle of resonance, where every organism vibrates at its own frequency. So when the matching frequency is applied, disharmony can be neutralized gently and naturally. So you can also look up a term called mortal oscillatory rate, which sort of explains this principle in more detail. So the setup, what does it look like? It looks like this. So you've got if you see me moving arrows around, I'm sorry, I'm just moving the Zoom stuff out of the way. You can't see it on your screen, but there's a lot going on my screen. Okay, so this here is the device that delivers the frequencies. So this one is called the phanatron, but there is another one that is this long tube, and this is a plasma tube. So when we say plasma central, we're actually referring to this box. But the plasma tube is this one. The long one is called the plasma tube. And this one, the ball one, is called the phanatron tube. Don't worry if that's confusing. Getting to grips with all the new terminology when you're new is not easy. So just remember that this whole setup is called central or plasma. The 2 terms are interchangeable. Okay, so we have here the optional accessories, which you don't need to add, but you can add to intensify the session and to get better results. Depending on what it is that you're dealing with, you may not need any of these at all. You don't often need to use all of them, but you can. And I have experience using all of them at the same time, and just to get faster results, especially when. So you can do this. You can put in, and they're marked, the connections, so you will know what goes where. But if you don't, then you can always refer to this photo, which is, so it's an image that was available on the Spooky2 website. And there are plenty of tutorials as well to show you exactly how to set it up. And we will go through the setup in shortly as well. So you can always come back to this webinar too. So you have your laptop, you have the central machine, you have the generator, which is here. This is a blue one, but there's also a silver one. So the blue one is the XM. The silver one is more capable, and that's called the X Pro. And then you've probably noticed that there are two sockets. So one socket is providing the power supply to this central box, and the other one is providing the power supply to the generator. And that's intentionally done that way. You need to keep two separate power supplies. This is very powerful. You know, when I've had it in the same room as my remotes, then it definitely interferes. Even when I've had them really far apart in the same room, they will still stop my remotes from working. So I need to use this in a separate room to my remotes. And then I find that it doesn't interfere with the remote. They will just stop working otherwise. So there is a very good reason to have two sockets. Make sure it's done this way so that the power supply is not shared. And also do make sure that you can see everything's kept as far apart as possible. And also you've noticed that these cables are, not kind of folded over on each other, but they are straightened and kept away from the box, and the box is away from the generator. This part you can keep near to each other, that's fine. The setup, keep close together, it's totally okay to do that, but keep this generator away from this box and keep this away from the power supply. Yeah, so just like this, if you do it just like this, it'll be absolutely fine. Okay, so now we're going to play another video. This one's a bit longer. It's just over 3 minutes, but it will help to explain the setup in more detail.
Hello everyone, this video will show you how to use Spooky2 Central. As we all know, Spooky2 Central has 4 modes: Plasma, Ultrasonic, PEMF, and Contact. Each mode can be run individually or together for improved results. For example, if you only want to run Plasma mode, you can just connect Spooky2 Phanotron tube or Spooky2 straight tube to the central box and choose the suitable programs on Spooky2 software. The same goes for the other 3 modes. You can also run all 4 modes simultaneously for the most effective treatment. Spooky2 Plasma has 2 different plasma tube: Spooky2 Phanotron tube and Spooky2 straight tube. Spooky2 Phanotron tube provides stronger and more focused signals, so it is recommended for localized treatment, while Spooky2 straight tube is suitable for whole body treatment. Spooky2 Central Contact mode is designed to open up your cells to better receive plasma treatment. You can use Spooky2 contact accessories, TENS pads, hand cylinder, TENS contact kit. Note that it is unsafe to use Spooky2 TENS internal electrode with Spooky2 Central. Spooky2 PMF mode creates pulsed electromagnetic field, which extends 6 inches from the coil. Spooky2 ultrasonic mode is an effective and powerful way to flood the entire body with frequencies. We are composed of 70% water, so sound waves in our body travel very well. Tips: Spooky2 Plasma mode and ultrasonic mode only work when Spooky2 Central is driven by the Spooky2 generator, while Spooky2 Contact mode and PMF mode can also work well without a Spooky2 generator connected. So let's start the hardware connection part. First, for Spooky2 PMF mode, plug the PMF coil into the coil outlet port. We use Spooky2 TENS pads as an example of Spooky2 contact mode. Connect the TENS pad to TENS cable and the other side of TENS cable to audio cable. Then plug the audio cable into the contact outlet port of the Spooky2 Central. In addition to Spooky2 TENS internal electrode, you can also use other contact accessories like hand cylinders contact kit. There is one switch to control on-off of both PMF and contact channels. Now connect the ultrasonic head to the ultrasonic cable. Rotating nuts tight them and then plug the adapter into the ultrasonic outlet port. Next, we use Spooky2 XM generator as an example to show how to connect the generator to Spooky2 Central. Please have a check with the tags on BNC filter cables. It will help you better understand which cable or port to connect to. One end of the first BNC filter cable should be connected out one of XM generator and the other end to the input port of Spooky2 Central. The side of magnetic circle should be near the generator. In the same way, one end of the second BNC filter cable will be connected to out 2 of XM generator and the other end to the modulation port of Spooky2 Central. Push the cable connector in and turn it 90 degrees clockwise. Finally, use the USB filter to connect Spooky2 generator to your computer. The side of magnetic circle should be near the generator. Spooky2 XM generator is powered by a 5-volt power adapter. You can also use Spooky2 Generator X to connect to Spooky2 Central. The operation steps are the same as above. And Spooky2 Generator X is powered by a 12-volt power adapter. Let's go to connect the plasma tube. I will take Spooky2 Fanatron tube as an example. Plug the adapter of the Fanatron tube into the outlet. And we need to connect the power plug to an electric outlet, which should be different from the electric outlet of the generator and computer. The Spooky2 straight tube is connected in the same way as the Spooky2 Fanatron tube. Before choosing a program, we need to power on Spooky2 Central. The switch light should work. Now turn on generator and start the software. Back to Spooky2 software. On the Control tab, there is a pink square button with number X. That means the Spooky2 XM generator was found. In this video, we will run a cold program as an example. Now we go back to the Preset tab and choose the suitable preset. Click Shell Empty Presets. Plasma. Choose Spooky.
Sorry, I want to end that there because I actually want to show you how to do that live. Sorry, just a second. Okay, so now we'll be going to the live software demo. And then once I've shown you how to do that, then I'll take any clarification points, questions. So just need to share my screen. Okay, that's going to take me a moment, it seems. So I'm just going to have a look at the chat. Just give me a moment, please. Sorry about this.
No generators found. Do you want to exit Spooky and install the generator drivers?
Oh gosh. Right, I think I have to exit this. Don't think Spooky2 is opening. Sorry, guys. Not sure how to fix it. Right, I think it's working. So I'm just going to look at the chat again. Yeah, I've just restarted it. So just I'm not sure if are you still seeing my presentation? Yes, okay. Yeah, so I've just got it loading again in the background, and then I should be able to show you a live demo. Okay, I'm just going to go and look in the chat now. See what you've ask me. XM produces better results. Yeah, I often see these conversations about XM versus Gen X Pro. Some people do prefer one over the other. I don't really have much of a comment to make on that. I was just trying to see if anybody else said anything on it. I've used both. I didn't see much of a difference between them. That doesn't mean that if you have that, I'm discounting that experience. I'm not. So if you do, then yeah, that may be the case. Okay, finally, it has loaded up. Right, so I'm just going to, actually, what does that say? Curious to know. Yeah, we'll go through those now. As soon as I can share it. Right. Okay, hopefully you can see my Spooky2 screen. Could you just confirm, please, that you can see it? Can you see my Spooky2 software? Yes, okay, great. Just don't want to be talking and then find out that you can't see my screen. So, right, so what we're going to do is go to the home. So this is the home icon. Now the Spooky2 software, anyone can download this. You don't have to have the equipment to download the software. It's very kind of the company to, just make it freely available for everybody. So if you go to spooky2.com, go to the downloads tab, there you'll find a starter pack. And from there, you can follow the instructions to download the software. Once you've downloaded it, you go onto Utils, click Toggle Advanced Features to make all of these tabs visible. And now we're going to take it from there. So go to the home icon, and then you can access Plasma from different methods, but we're just going to click on this one for now, this preset, the shell empty presets. Click on Plasma, and then you can see, various presets. The one that's used most often is this one, what did I just say? Spooky Plasma Advanced. And then you can see the notes here, which gives you some information about it. You'll see notes for each one of those presets. So, I mean, some of them are self-explanatory. So the plasma killing is obviously for killing of pathogens, not of people, of pathogens. Morbid joke, sorry about that. Then we also have molecular weight remove to remove things like, any kind of metals, heavy metals, or, with that one, molecular weight emulate any substances that you want to emulate. It could be essential oils. It can be the frequencies of medicines. It can be anything. And then these ones are usually used more by the advanced users. So don't worry too much about that. This one is the kind of universal, I'd say, universal one that you can use for everything. And then you've got a few more here, which you can read more information about. So this one for entrainment, especially if you're dealing with like something like nerve entrainment, that could be a good one to use there. And then you've got the fixed carrier frequency. You've got variable duty. But I would say, stay more in these areas when you're starting. So you can start with just this one, especially if you're using biofeedback results, biofeedback frequencies, then try and start with this one. So to load it up, all you would do is double click on it, and then you go into programs, and then you can pick something. So we're going to go with abdominal. Well, we're going to go on this now because my cursor has a mind of its own. So we're going to go on ability to concentrate attention. And just give me a moment. Okay. And then we go on the control tab. And then we click overwrite generator. and then it will be the corresponding generator. So this is in test mode. That's why you see so many icons come up. But when you attach your generators, I don't have any attached right now, but when you do, then you will see just the ones that are attached here. You then click on overwrite generator, click on the corresponding generator, and then click start. Okay, and you can see here that it's running because the time has elapsed on the right side. The time has elapsed there, and also here you can see that there's progress being made with the running of these frequencies. So each one will run for 3 minutes. Right, each one will run for 3 minutes there. And the dwell here is the number of seconds that's elapsed. And that's it. Yes, it's now running. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Right, any comments so far? Oh, thank you, Zara, for sharing that YouTube video. If it stays red and start doesn't appear, then have you tried clicking overwrite generator and selecting it again? Because you need to make sure that you've definitely checked that box, otherwise it will stay red. Have you tried doing that? Once it's running, it will turn green. And if you pause it, then it will be yellow. Hope that helps. So you clicked override generator and it's still not working. Okay, did you definitely have programs in there? So I'd recommend if you're having, if you've done everything I've just told you and you're still struggling to see what I'm seeing, then please contact Spooky2 for technical support. They're very responsive and they'll help you. Where would you place the Fanatron or the tube? Oh, if I was using this program, what was the program again? Something about ability to, what was it? Let me just see. So I was running ability to concentrate. You could put this near your head. You could use a Fanatron next to your head. I would probably do that. Okay, yeah, then our 8 counts chair mashups. Please contact Spooky2 technical support. Just email the support email address and they should be able to help you with that because it should work. Right, so let's move on. Okay, just to confirm, can you now see my presentation? Thank you, Zara. Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so just a quick troubleshooting quick guide if you have other issues, is if the plasma tube does not light, then do make sure that you check all the cables, ensure that everything's connected properly. Check the preset type is selected to P for plasma. Don't use C or R or any of the other modes. Make sure it's plasma. Ensure the generator is running and confirm the power switch and all of the connections. Make sure the cables, the thick cables, are properly inserted into the big box. If software does not detect device, then restart the software and reconnect the USB. Use the filter cables that are supplied with your kit and use them in the way that was demonstrated in that video that I played. You can also try rescan devices, but that might not work. If you're not detecting anything, you might have to close the software. You might even have to restart your computer. But if you do those steps, then hopefully it will detect the generator if everything is connected properly. So some safety and best practices are the following. Power off before changing the connections. Do switch it off. So there's a power button on the generator, the silver and the blue, and also on the big box, which has its own power button. So please turn those off before you fiddle around with the wires and connections, just for safety reasons. Avoid using scalar and plasma at the same time. If you have the scalar devices, the big black boxes, turn those off before you use the plasma. Keep the plasma tube safely in front of you. So don't leave it unsupervised and go off somewhere else, because it does get quite hot. So you need to make sure that you're around when it's being used, and use a stable surface, preferably a hard surface, but you can also use it in bed as long as you make sure that there's good ventilation around it and you're not putting it under the duvet cover. Because like I said, it does produce heat, so the heat has to dissipate, otherwise it will overheat. And do drink plenty of water before and after your session. You can also drink water during your session if you have it nearby. And ensure separate power supplies for the generator and central, which I talked about earlier when I was showing you the photo of the whole setup. And ensure that there is distance between the cables, the generator, and the power supplies. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope this has helped to give you an overview of what Central is about and how it works and how to set it up. If you have any product inquiries, please email support@spooky2more.com. That's the QR code to my Instagram there. So on Saturday, if I have permission from the person who wins from the draw, then I will announce their name on my Instagram. If I can't get the permission to do that, then I'll just say that I've picked a winner. For coaching, please email me, and my email address is here, sundas.chohan@gmail.com. Please include details on guidance that you need and level of urgency. These sessions are made to suit your needs, so they're tailored to you and they're fully interactive. So please feel free to contact me if I can help. I've also got a list of some of my services on the Spooky2 Academy website. That's how some of you have found me before. I also have some testimonials on Trustpilot, and they're here. So if you just copy this address, then you can find them there. I know some of my clients have tried to post and they're not able to post anymore. And that's just because my website's not active yet. So I contacted Trustpilot and they said that until your website's active, we can't accept reviews. So there won't be any more recent reviews going up, I'm afraid, until I've got my website active. But there are some there already, which were posted there before I came to learn about this restriction. So you can go and check them out there. And I know there's a review on the Spooky2 Academy as well. And I hope that's helped. Do you have any comments? Oh, I think people normally ask me also when the replay is up. So this will be up possibly tomorrow. I'll just share the name of the handle of my YouTube channel where it will go up. But if you can't find me, because I know for some reason this is not easily searchable. So if that's the case, then you can just type in, what will we put in the title? Plasma Spooky2. Yeah, if you type these words sometime tomorrow or the day after tomorrow into YouTube, then hopefully it will come up. Someone's just shared a pumpkin. It's almost Halloween. Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you so much for the kind comments. There was something else. What was it? I don't know. Oh yeah, the link to the form. Here it is again. So here's the link to my feedback form again. I just really want to know what you all think, like what stages of learning you're at. It just helps me to then prepare better webinars for you. So please do fill this out, and I literally read every feedback that I get, and I take it on board, and I try to improve. So it's always good to know where you are at and how I can help you. I know there's people from all kinds of backgrounds, you know, at my webinars, but I want to make them the best that I can for you, so it helps you. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And now we're going to go to, actually, I'm just going to read the chat and then we'll go to Q&A. How to use plasma and contact at the same time. So Vera, just to answer your question before we go into Q&A, because that's relevant to what I was showing. What you would do is you would do the plasma the way that I showed you. And then do you remember the little icons in the control tab denoting different generators? So on that one, you would do the same thing, but instead of clicking plasma, you would click contact. So when you go back into the presets tab, you know, you'll find contact in empty shell presets, for example. And then you click the contact option, and then you find the programs and you then load them onto the corresponding generator, which won't be the same generator as plasma. When I do these one-to-one sessions, I can, you know, like make sure that you're on the same page because I can see what you're doing, etc. It's a bit harder to do it in a webinar space, but I hope that helps answer the question. Let me just see what else there was. Yes, it will be available to watch again in the next day or two. Okay. Oh, why? Why, Nanyo? Why does it feel like 1 hour lost time for you? Let me know in the feedback form. When you say the power needs to be separate. Yeah, that's right, Ruby. So when it's just two separate sockets, that's it. Okay, now let's go into Q&A. Right. Okay, I'm having problems hooking mine up. I have an Apple laptop and I downloaded the parallel program for Windows. If you want some help to set it up, then feel free to contact me on my email address and I can help you set up. We can spend half an hour or so and we can get you set up. If it's a technical issue, however, if you're struggling because something is not connecting the way it should, or you know, if it's something like that, then you can contact Spooky2 for direct support with a technical fault. What programs would you recommend for chronic fatigue and brain fog? I had black mold toxicity and COVID vaccines. Yeah, please contact me for direct support like that. If it's anything specific, I prefer that you contact me at my email address and then we can set up a session, because I can't recommend things like this without having you know, more information. So I'd prefer that you contact me, or if you just want some general advice, what I normally say is go into the programs tab and search what you're looking for, and then you'll find it. But when I do the one-to-one sessions, once I know the background and once I know more about the case, then I can make recommendations that are not directly those programs. It will be things that I know will support, because, you know, I do things from a holistic perspective. So it will be more than just those direct things. But you could definitely search for those in the database. Monica, how long can we run medicine, vitamins, antibiotics? So I'd say that it depends. It depends on what is. Again, like a lot of these questions are very specific, and I'm sorry, but it won't be responsible of me to give you advice based on very little information. It's just not responsible for me to do that. But technically, I can talk in general terms, like technically, you can run things for long periods of time, for months on remote, in general. But is that the right thing in your situation? I don't know until I have a direct conversation with you. Do I have experience working with plasma and DNA remotely? Yes, I do. Is it okay to look into the plasma? Yes. Yeah, it's not laser. So it's a cold laser that you have to wear the glasses with. But this one you don't have to, but it does come with a cover. So if you are using it overnight, then you can use a black cover on top just to stop it from blinking in your face. Can they remain plugged in at all times? Yeah, Tracy, you asked the question during the video, many options were all connected to Central. Can they remain plugged in at all times, even when using only one, like the TENS pads? I'd say yes. Oh, sorry, I just realized. Yeah, somebody asked me a question. Yeah, somebody asked me a question about the TENS pads, right? And I said that you can run it through contact. You can actually just run it through plasma. So if you don't have to have a separate generator for that. Sorry, I was confusing it with the remote. No, you can just run the whatever it is that you're running on plasma, then put the contact in, plug the top contact in. There are two ways to do it. That's why I was thinking in the other way. The other way is that you have a separate generator connected to the contact. But obviously, in this case, you're using the contact that's with the plasma. So in that case, you don't need to then set up another preset in the software. You'd use the same one that you're running with the plasma, but just connect the pads to yourself. Sorry about that. I hope that's clarified it. Thank you. Is there any video on how to set up and run the starter kit? There are videos on YouTube, yes, on the Spooky2 channel. Could certain frequencies interfere with neurofeedback training that I'm doing, which is designed to down regulate my beta and theta brainwaves? I would say speak to the person who, the practitioner of the training that you're doing, and let them know that you're going to do this, because I don't know exactly what you're doing. So, or you can email me and just give me more information, then I can give you better advice. But yeah, I can't advise based on the limited information I have here. Which frequency or program will be good to remove? Please contact me. Will the plasma raise or slow fast switch, Chris. This is, I believe it's used for ultrasonic. So you can use a slow or fast function for that. Is there any part? You can try both and see which one suits you best. Is there any part of the body where the plasma or phanatron can't be used? Is there any part of the body where the plasma or phanatron can't be used? Not that I'm aware of. But you can't use the internal electrode in the contact. That's something to be mindful of, to not use that contact mode. The one that has, I don't have this one, but it's an internal electrode that you can buy with the Spooky2 equipment. You can't use that with plasma. What program do you recommend to reduce? Yeah, any specific questions? Sorry, I won't be answering because I can't. My computer mouse locks up when the central is working. Then the distance from the computer to the central has to be greater. Your computer mouse locks up. I don't think it would affect your mouse. That's new to me, Charmaine. I don't think it would affect your computer function. I could be wrong, but I've just never heard of that before. You could try moving it further away and see if you see any difference. Chris, if I designate a generator for plasma, will that interfere with running the same generator in other modes? You can't use the same generator for different modes. So you would have, so the silver box has two generators in it. You can use one on, you could do remote or contact with one of them, for example, separately to plasma. And then you can use plasma on the other generator. But each silver box has two, and the blue one has one generator on it. You can't use the same generator for more than one mode. If I want to run plasma scale and remote programs, do I need more than one computer? No, you don't. You can run, well, it depends how you're using it, but I have a separate setup for remote because I have so many remotes. But I have before run remote on the same generator as the plasma, but I've just kept them far apart, and then it's okay. But I find that when I have many remotes in the same room as plasma, then it's not okay because it stops the remotes, some of the remotes from working. But when I've just got one remote, then I haven't had that problem. Can I run the device from the basement, or does it need to run from the same floor I'm on? Sharon, to answer your question, can you run it from your basement? I mean, you can, that would be far mode. And I know some people have done that and they've still found it to be effective. But near mode requires you to be within 6 inches of it and gives you the best results. Some people have treated things like mold in the house using the far mode of the plasma and kept it on a different floor or somewhere really far away and still found it helpful. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Mauricio. Monica, thank you for rephrasing your question, but please send me an email, then we can do a session and I can help you with that because that will require more than a simple, straightforward answer. Okay, I think, has anyone? I don't see any raised hands, so I think everyone's clear. Great stuff. All right then, well, thank you so much for joining and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.